والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. You know, the purpose in life is really quite clearly outlined in this chapter of the Quran. By the token of time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, by the token of time, man is in complete loss. Except for those who do righteous deeds and invite others to the truth. And those who are patient and who persevere. Can you not hear me? Sorry, the slides or the voice? The voice, okay. Can you just increase the volume? Okay. Okay, can you hear me now? Is this any better? Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, is this better now? Yeah. Okay, okay, Jazakallah khair. So, let's make a start. Rabbi Shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Jazakallah khair, Brother Ali, to invite me again. It's good to be back, mashallah, here. I'm so pleased, and it's really good to meet you again, inshallah. So, Brother Ali asked me to talk about talking about goals for the new year. Now, on the 1st of January, in this new year, as far as we are concerned, nothing's changed. You still have your same wife, same husband. You still probably get the same car. You've still got everything, haven't you? It's still the same. Nothing's changed. But subhanAllah, this might be an idea for having goals, because it's any purpose, anything that is good in Islam is positive. Because our beloved Prophet, he himself had a strategy. He had a mission. He had a long-term view. I'm looking at Treaty of Hudaybiyah. He wasn't looking at the short-term goals. He was looking at the long-term goals. And all the things that the Quraysh had said, our beloved Prophet agreed to them, even though it was not really the right course of action to take for the Muslims. And they were saying some of the things that they were so angry and upset about. But Prophet he had a long-term vision. We Muslims, we need to have a long-term perspective. And it's good to have goals. It's good to have some sort of objectives in life. So what are they? So you've discussed what they are. So maybe when I give you some ideas and some tips, maybe we can compare what I have got and what you might have later on, inshallah. Brother Ali, how much time have we got today? It always changes. Sometimes it's 40 minutes, sometimes it's half an hour. 45 minutes. So till half past 8, yeah? I finish at half 8. Yeah. Okay. So in that case, if I'm going along, ask me to any clarification, or if you've got any questions as I'm speaking. It's better to do that now because we haven't got much time. Just put your hand up and ask for clarification, or ask a question in the middle. It's okay, inshallah. It'll be really good. So setting goals, planning your year needs to start from knowing exactly what it is that you want to achieve in life, which is obviously goal setting. Not in life, but maybe for the whole year. You might have short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals. And if you're a businessman, or if you are working in an organization or a company that develops strategies, you'll have that. You'll have milestones as well. You'll have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 15-year plan. I used to work in the NHS, and we used to have plans like this. But subhanAllah, if you have plans, and if you have objectives, and if you have goals, and if you put in your thought that it's a sunnah to do this, you'll get the reward for it. The beautiful thing about our deen is that put your thought process in such a way that is considered to be a sunnah. Whatever you do, if it's good and it's positive, everything that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is considered to be an act of worship. Anything that displeases Allah is considered to be a sin. Think it in that way, and you will all be positive. The main thing is that you're conscious of Allah all the time. That you are at that taqwa level where you fear Allah, not fearing Allah because Allah will punish you, but it's about embarrassing Allah for doing wrong. And when you do wrong, you ask for Allah's forgiveness, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful and is forgiving. And the second part is that you have hopes in Allah. So that's, you need to bear that in mind, whether you have goals or not, all the time. Some people have goals, some people don't write anything down. Some people don't have any goals. But those who do seem to be more organized and more planned. I mean, every day I write on a piece of paper to-do list. I can't remember things. But if you have a to-do list, then you can actually prioritize. You can look at things, what is important, what is urgent, what you can delegate, what you can discard. But it will help you not to procrastinate. Because procrastination, subhanAllah, believe it or not, I learned it in management theory, but when I researched the hadith, procrastination comes from shaitan. So don't delay things. If there are certain things that you need to do it. If you are having a difficulty in making a decision in your life, then do istikhara. Look at the tools that we have got. We don't use it, unfortunately. When you do istikhara, whatever your decision you're going to make, you're putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the driver's seat. So, for example, you're going to get married. You ask Allah, oh Allah, bless this marriage, but if there's something wrong with it, then please don't make it happen. You do istikhara 2 rak'ah, and then you make this dua, this special dua, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it happen if you want to. It doesn't mean that I'll get a dream or something, I'll get some sort of an inspiration from Allah. It's not like that. You go ahead and do it using your natural instinct. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us in the fitrah state to look at what's good for us. You go ahead and do it, but then you do istikhara. You go ahead and do it, and if Allah does not will this to happen, it will move it away from you. Subhanallah. This is so good and so positive. We believers, we need to believe in this. So therefore, these are the kind of strategies that we need to apply, particularly now setting our goals. So the main thing is, if you want to achieve inner peace and balance, there are specific goals that you need to really aim for. The first one is spirituality. Your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you don't have connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever goals you have, you will not be fulfilled. Whatever has already that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destined for you, it will happen. Whatever is already destined for you, the pen the ink has been dried and the pen has been lifted. It's already ordained for you. So you try your best to do something, but have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time in this connection. How? Through Quran, through zikr, through prayer, and through dua. These 4 things we must do daily. So whatever purpose you have in life it will be fulfilled by the grace of Allah, inshallah. Second one is health. How you can take care of yourself. If you're not healthy yourself, but if you change your thought process again, I want to be healthy because I can pray my salah better. I'll be able to do my zikr better. I can pray my Quran better. My oxygen will be going to my brain better because I'm fit and healthy. I can do more things to help people. If you have that thought process in your life, in terms of health, you get the rewards for it. It's such an easy deed to think of, isn't it? But then do it with the correct intention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is knowing our intention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is as close as your jugular vein. He even knows our thought processes. So it's important to think it like that. Next one is seeking knowledge. The first word that was revealed was Iqra. Read in the name of your Lord. But Iqra, not just when you've studied, you become a PhD doctor, you become a surgeon, a physician, a nurse, whatever it might be. Continuous professional development is an Islamic concept. We need to keep on learning ourselves. You will keep on learning until you die. So seeking knowledge is again an ibadah. In yesteryears, the reason why Muslims excelled so much they were not only scholars, but they were specialists in their fields. And this is the reason that today, subhanallah, we owe it to the earlier Arabs in their DNA that developed so many things that we take it for granted today, whether it's aeroplanes, whether it's computers, whatever it might be, force of delivery. It was then translated from Arabic to Latin, to Greek, to English. And then some of the things that the Western concept has developed are mainly that came from the Arabs at that time. If you look at Professor Salim al-Hassani's book, it's called 1001 Inventions, Islamic Heritage in the Muslim World. Take any page, all the things that we take it for granted today were invented by Muslims, aeroplanes, the computer, etc., etc. The basics were done at that time because they were inspired by the word read. And we need to continue to read. Not only men, by the way. Some fathers don't send their daughters to university. Why is that? It means both men and women. What we need to look at is the environment and how they can excel in that environment. That's what's important. So seeking knowledge is another one. A contribution to society. The more you give to others, the more inner peace you'll get. This is completely counterintuitive. What's in it for me? In fact, in our concept as a believer, we need to take this into account. If you have a problem in life, find someone who's got a problem, help them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you. This is completely counterintuitive, isn't it? Somebody think you must be mad. What do you mean? But this is what we believe in. The more you give your time, the more blessings you get. Because you're doing it to help them. You do it only to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the next goal. Earnings, you must earn, you must get a job. If you haven't got a job, you can't sit on yourself and rely on benefits. The universal credit is now very difficult to get anyway. You earn yourself. There's one man who came to the Prophet and said, "Oh, Prophet of Allah, I don't have any money," and he was begging. So Prophet ﷺ gave him an axe. He said, "You seem to be a young man. You can earn yourself." He gave him an axe. He said, "Go and chop wood and sell the wood for your earnings." We need to sustain ourselves. So we need to earn a living. Because when I was doing my master's in social sciences, I learned that unemployment is something that severely limits life chances of people. Unemployment severely limits life chances of people. We must earn ourselves money. There's barakah in that. The hand that gives is better than the hand that takes. So we have to bear that in mind. We have to earn a living to maintain our families. Men, we are responsible to maintain our families. Relaxing. Sometimes we Muslims don't relax. We're just going like a headless chicken, going around and working so hard. And the British people, we are part of that society. We work so many hours. Britain has the highest number of working hours than anywhere else in Europe. We need to relax sometimes. We need to have this work-life balance. We need to recharge our batteries. We need to go into the surroundings that we are living around us. The trees, the lakes, the dams, the reservoirs. It's so beautiful. This country is so beautiful. 85% or 80% is rural. If you go and to take a walk, not very far from here, subhanallah, and just say when you go there, this is Allah's creation. The only time that we see the stars and the moon is when we're in Muzdalifah. Otherwise, we're just living in a concrete village, isn't it? We have to go and relax. We have to go and see the nature and look at the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. Family. We must spend a lot of time with our family. What's the point of us just running like a headless chicken and earning and earning and earning? We need to spend. The one who's got the wealth are the ones who spend. Completely different concept, isn't it? The one who's got money are the ones who spend. We need to spend our money. We're not going to take it in the cover. So spend your money on your family. Allah will provide risk. When the ruh was put into your body, 50,000 years before, when we said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Allah said, "Am I not your Lord?" and we all said yes. And when this ruh was put into our body, our sustenance was already written, how much we're going to be earning. Our quality of life was already written, and also the time of death. No one knows their date of death. Everyone here knows their date of birth, but no one knows their date of death except Allah. Even the angel of death does not know until Allah appoints them. So we need to look at how best we can spend our time, quality time with our family. Finance. Finance is a main thing. Sometimes it brings lots of misery within families. Take care of your finance. Budget yourself properly. Be thrifty, when you need to be. But don't be extravagant and don't be so stingy. Have the moderate, have the middle way, have the middle path. It's so important. And clear your debts. If you haven't cleared your debts by the end of last year, do it now. Try to do that, first. That should be your priority. And if somebody else owes you money, subhanallah, this is something completely counterintuitive. And I always mentioned it. If somebody owes you money and you've got wealthy enough, if you give them time, our beloved Prophet said there's so many rewards in that. If somebody says, "Please give me another 6 months," and if you do this, then you'll get lots of rewards in that. There's so much blessings in this. More barakah will come in your earnings. But if you're so wealthy, you can say in your mind, "Oh Allah, if I pass away before this person gives me the debt, I forgive this debt." Or that before he dies and he hasn't given me the debt, I forgive him. When you sleep, you sleep much, much better. There are people who they're millionaires, by the way. The reason why they became millionaires is because they're saving so many pennies, but not spending on themselves and their families. That's why they become millionaires. But they might lend somebody, but they want it back quickly. But they can afford it. But if you had mentioned this in their minds as a goal, subhanAllah, there's so many rewards in this. And then this one, the goal of life. This is from the Quranic verse, chapter 23. verse 115. What? Allah says, did you then think that we had created you in vain, and that you shall not be returned to us? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We will be returned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is only a short life. Have goals, have priorities, but the ultimate goal is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That we're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah. So the ultimate goal is that. So have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your mind, but at the same time remember the purpose of life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in terms of that purpose in life, and I have not created the jinn and the men except that they should worship me, Allah says in the Quran, chapter 51 verse 56. And then another one, chapter 3 verse 191, those who remember Allah standing and sitting and lying on their sides and reflect on the creation of the heavens and the earth. And this is what I'm saying, we need to reflect on the creation of the heavens and the earth. Our Lord, thou hast not created this in vain. Glory be to thee, save us then from the chastisement of the fire. Our ultimate goal is that, isn't it? The purpose of knowledge, this is the reason why if we seek more knowledge, we'll be aware of this. And the purpose of knowledge is to know Allah. And after knowing Him, to worship and serve Him. Hence, knowledge and spirituality is only a means to reach Allah. He is the goal and He is the destination. So, again, the believer's ultimate goal is to be in Jannah, isn't it? Isn't it? Our main aim is that, isn't it? But Jannah is not easy. Today we are living in trials and tribulations. Look at where the Muslim Ummah is. You know, I was just writing something for the khutbah of the Imam, and I was researching about unity. When the Prophet ﷺ said that my nation will be at a time when they'll be like the froth of the ocean. The froth. It's like a scum. Divided, and yet the importance of unity is there in our deen, but we're still divided. Whether divided in our small communities, whether divided in our masjid committees, whether divided in our extended families, or in the country, or because of our sect, Deobandi, Barelvi, Jamaat Islami, Ahl Hadith, whatever it might be, or country, or caste, we're still divided, but yet we are believers. We are 1.7 million people, so 1.7 billion in this world. But why are we divided? If we were united, we could do a lot. If we were united, because we are required to hold on to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we do not, then we become divided. And this is the start state of affairs. This is why the demise of the Muslims at the moment. So what are the specific goals? First of all, prioritize your day around Salah, Quran, Zikr and Dua. If you do not do this, then honestly you have not fulfilled your goal in life. So spend quality time for yourself, for your own soul. If you're working, try to do it early in the morning. After Fajr, do a bit of Quran. Consistency is the motto. Consistency, don't say I'm going to read the whole, say about 50 pages. Just one page. Do it every day though. Not 50 pages one day and then leave it for a month. So the shaitan will work on you. So the main goal should be in the morning, for example, you do the arkans, the Quran, Zikr and Dua. And try to have your mobile phone off, put it on airport mode, because when you have this and the text comes in, you're distracted. I tell you, we are distracted. I did a talk on addiction earlier, social media addictions, to a group of medical students. And it's true, this phone is really driving us away from our spirituality. So, do that. The next one is that, isn't it? Cut down on your social media. Read more. The more we read, the better we become. Read good books. Read self-development books. Read and try to conceptualize and reflect on the verse of the Quran. Try to understand what Allah is saying. That's the best book. But from there you can research so much. The whole vast area of knowledge that we could seek from. Take 30 minutes walk every day. This is really, really healthy. Either go for a jog if you want after Fajr, maybe for 10 minutes or 15, 20 minutes, or walk, or get a treadmill and walk. Keep yourself fit. But keep yourself fit, what for? So that you can become a better believer. You can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala better. That's the purpose. Not so that you can show off you're on the beach. That should never be the purpose. But we see, don't we? We see among the people who are not the believers, that's what they want to do. They want to show off them. But did you know, particularly for girls, iron is real. Evil eye is real. Try to take your photo off from the profile. Honestly, it's so important because iron is real and it happens. So try to ensure that we try to become fit, not to show off to anybody, but to only please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because he did archery, he was running, he did brisk walking. We are required to be fit. Personal development. You might want to go on a personal development course. There's so many about. Go on a stress management course. Read about it if you want. Look at emotional intelligence. Improve yourself. The more you read, the better you'll become. The more you go on a course, you meet other people, like-minded people, you'll be able to network better and try to neutralize toxic people. Don't be with them. Because the Prophet said, when you're with good people, pious people, it's like you go to a perfume shop. You might not apply the perfume onto your body, but the fragrance will be rubbing off on you. Similarly, if you go to a blacksmith, you might not apply or use the equipment, but the black smoke and the black soot will be coming onto your clothing. And one important scholar mentioned that if you really want to find out where a child is going to be in 10 years' time or 15 years' time, look who he hangs around with. Look who his friends are. So make sure that they are with people who are pious, who are righteous, who are good. Otherwise, make sure that they become a leader and not a follower. Learn new skill. Try to do cooking. I've started to learn cooking, by the way. Do cooking. There's so many recipes now on YouTube. Try to have a new dish. Brothers, try to please your wife and make a nice dish. It's not that the women are required to cook. There's one school of thought. It's said that the women's job is not to cook. By the way, our beloved Prophet, he did all the household chores. He milked the goat. He sewed his own shoes. He sewed his own clothes. He did all the household chores. We as men are required to do the same as well. Cooking, hoovering, changing the baby's nappies. I know the sisters are smiling and it will never happen, but try, because it's a sunnah. Even if you're working 9 to 5, you come home, you help your wife. So try to make a meal for your wife. It'll be really good. She'll be pleased, inshallah. But if you make a mess of it, she tells you to stop soon. Well, this is the whole point. The man has to either cook, get a maid to cook, or get a takeaway. But try to learn a skill and cook. But if you're horrible, then your wife will tell you. And she'll be on a diet after that. Dali, you're a good cook. Okay, so healthy eating. You are what you eat. There are 12 superfoods our beloved Prophet mentions: olives, olive oil, pomegranate, water, melon, dates, grapes. What else is there? There's a few more. Sorry? Honey. Yeah, that's the main one, mashallah. Honey. Sorry? Meat, yes, but meat was in moderation. There were times that the Sahabas used to say, the Prophet's house, there's not much smoke coming out. Only a few days that he ate meat. That tells us that he was more of a vegetarian. Eat meat, but eat it in moderation. Eat vegetables, eat salads, eat things that are grown, eat organic, eat halal. Halal meaning tayyib, pure. Sometimes we get the halal meat, but the way that the animal has been treated, we don't know. And yet in our deen, we have to ensure that the animal is looked after in a humane way. That the animal doesn't see another animal being slaughtered. That the animal is given some water before it. The qurbani is about sacrifice. Sacrificing the animal that we've loved for a long time. That's how it should be. But it's still a lot of battery hand farming and this whole idea of corporations doing mass productions is really hurting animals, unfortunately. And we Muslims need to do some research into this. Mad cows disease happened because cows were fed cows. It was the South African scholars who researched this and said, that's why. So they were making pellets of cows, and our cows were fed cows. It's completely haram in Islam. So we need to look at what concept of halal is. So healthy eating is another one. Spend more time with your spouse and children and parents. Create a work-life balance and think positive. Sometimes we don't think positive. There were many, many times our beloved Prophet he took a positive from a negative. The situation in Taif, the guy who started the urinating in the Prophet's masjid, the Jewish woman who used to throw the rubbish at his doorstep. All these situations, he changed a negative into a positive. We need to do that ourselves as well. If somebody's hurt you or harmed you, consider it that there might be an excuse they can find for them. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they were not sure why they hurt you. Or if they are and they're being malicious, run away from it rather than confronting them. Try to be positive. Try to be ensuring that you don't hurt yourself and don't keep a grudge against anyone. If you keep a grudge against someone, then you're hurting yourself. Because there's this one powerful story that I read. One man was coming towards the Prophet and he had done his wudu and his hair and beard was all disheveled. And as he was walking towards the Prophet, and the companions were sitting next to Prophet and he said to the companions, "This is a man of Jannah. The guy who's coming in front of us, he's a man of Jannah." The second day, again, he said, "This is a man of Jannah." Third day, same thing happened. He said, "This is a man of Jannah." So one of the companions said, "What's this guy done that he deserves Jannah? Let me go stay with him for 3 days." I think his name was Muhammad bin Qasim, I'm not sure. So he stayed with him for 3 days. He told a white lie and said, "I've got a problem with my dad and about a property matter, can I stay with you?" And he did. And he saw him day and night to see whether there was anything different that he was doing. But he wasn't. He was doing exactly the same as all the companions. So he said to his friend, "I'll leave now." And as he was going out, the man asked him, "Was there any specific reason you came? I know that you had a problem with your dad." And he said, "Yes, I wanted to find out what are you doing differently that you deserve Jannah? Because the Prophet said you're destined for Jannah." And he said, "I don't think I'm doing anything different." But as he was walking out, he said, "There might be one thing. I don't keep a grudge against anyone. I don't keep a grudge against anyone." So my brothers and sisters, if you've got a grudge this year, clear it up. And if you've got so many grudges against someone or some people over the last year or maybe 20 years or 30 years, forgive them. Don't keep it in your heart because you're the one who's getting hurt. Forgive them. Mention it to Allah. "Oh Allah, this person has wronged me. I believe it's true, but I forgive that person for your sake." Honestly, you'll feel so much better. And if you've wronged somebody else, make your goal today that you intend to go to them and ask for their forgiveness. Because they hurt. Ask for their forgiveness. Because the first beneficiary of the one who forgives is himself. So, think positive. Practice mindfulness. How many people know what mindfulness is? Yes, my sisters, a few of the sisters. Brothers are less mindful. We need to be mindful. Khushu, bringing khushu in salah is basically being mindful. I mean, I'm researching myself about this. We need to be more mindful. The more mindful we are, the better we become. We have a positive life. We have a positive outlook in life. Not only that, but our beloved Prophet mentioned this. He encourages us to be mindful. And in terms of the present state, he said we should be always in the present state of mind. First of all, in a positive state of mind. But secondly, he said be in a present state of mind. Meaning, forget what's happened in the past, because that past will never come back again. And don't worry too much about the future, because only Allah knows what's going to happen in the future. And this is the reason why the Prophet said, consider your prayer that you're praying next is the last one. That might be your last prayer. You might die after that. And that's why we need to be continuing to doing good all the time until the day of judgment comes. And this is the hadith of the Prophet again. He said, if you are about to plant a tree, if you are about to plant a seed for a tree, and you're hearing that judgment day is coming, what did he say?
Plant it.
Yes, plant it. Go ahead and continue planting it. I.e., If you are doing something good, continue doing it, even if you know that the day of judgment is coming. For each and every one of us, the day of judgment is when we die. So don't wait to say, what are the signs? Look at that it could happen to you tomorrow. The breath could be taken away from you at any time. Be conscious of that. So forgive people. Ask for other people's forgiveness. Clear your debts. If somebody else owes you, have it in your mind that I want to clear them. Or go to them personally and say, I clear your debt. You're being very brave because you got enough money. If you haven't, then make sure you got enough. Because Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wanted to give him everything, obviously, didn't he? From bed to the Bayt al-Mal. So we have to be conscious of that we need enough for ourselves as well, for our family. Easy good deeds that we could apply. And what are the easy evil deeds that we should avoid? Yeah? So I'll mention that and then we'll open up the discussion. And then I'm going to ask you what are your goals, perhaps, if anybody wants to volunteer. And if there's any questions as well, inshallah. So we've only got about 13 minutes left. So what are the easy goods that we could do? Doing good even if it is removing an obstacle from the path. You know, our beloved Prophet said, even smiling is a charity. Moving a small stone away from the pathway so that another person does not trip is considered to be charity. That's an easy good deed. We need to do that. It's something similar where, you know, you're driving along and the road is narrow and the other person is also coming and you're then eyeing him and they're eyeing you and you know you want them to go back. You go back yourself. It's an easy good deed. We don't do that, do we? You go back and reverse yourself so that you can allow them to come. Because it has to be somebody has to go back. You go back or they go back. If you go back, for Allah's sake, you'll get the reward for it. It's an easy good deed. Yes,
and the branches that lie the lowest have the heaviest fruit.
Ah, mashallah. The branch that has the heaviest fruit lies the lowest. Mashallah, very good. Pray. Do supplementary prayers. Do Salatul Hajjah, the Ishraq, Jas, Salat, supplementary prayers. So you've got to do the 5-day prayers anyway, but do supplementary prayers as well if you can. These are easy good deeds. Helping others constantly. You know, this is something so beautiful. If somebody asks for your help, if somebody's come to you for your help, they've knocked on your door and said, brother, you've got the skills to do this, can you please do this? Whatever it might be. And you are going to help them for Allah's sake, you will get the reward for it. Not that you want something back from them, either money or something else from them, but only for Allah's sake. Did you know that this person who's knocking on your door, it's a blessing from Allah? This person has come to you because you've got the skills, you've got the ability, and you've got the time, and Allah sent this person to you. And if you don't do that, then you've lost the blessing. That person's problem will be solved by somebody else anyway, through Allah. But Allah's blessed you and that's why they come to you. So constantly keep on helping people. Because that is what ibadah is about. If you're just a ritualistic man, praying 5 times a day, going for Hajj and fasting in the month of Ramadan, but your mannerisms and your etiquettes are not good, you don't help people, what's the point? Then what's the point of living? What's the purpose of life? Then an animal eats and breathes and everything. We're doing the same. We're here for the service of mankind, for Allah's sake. So we need to do that. And what differentiates us as believers is that we're only doing it for Allah's sake. Because we have Iman. Using your skills to assist others, zikr, dua, fasting, easy good deeds. Be first to say salam. Whether you are knowing them or not, whether you're acquainted with them or not. You know, some of the masjids I go to in my locality, people don't if they're not acquainted with them, they don't even say salams. But it's an easy good deed. Because our beloved Prophet ﷺ said, spread smile and spread salam. You know, sometimes we come out of the masjid, we look so miserable. We come out on the best place on earth, the masjid, but we look so miserable outside. Just watch yourself as well. We should be happy, we should be content, we should be, in that environment where we are practicing community cohesion 5 times a day, meeting people. The whole purpose of us meeting so that we can get to know one another. So we know who the 4th neighbor is, not only this right and left neighbor, but the 4th neighbor, the neighbor in front, the neighbor behind. Why? Because the Prophet said your neighbors are 40 doors this way, 40 doors this way, 40 doors in front of you and 40 doors behind you. And you have a duty for your neighbor. They are like your relatives. So have that in mind as well. Try to help them and assist them as much as you can. Conceal other people's faults. If you conceal other people's faults, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will conceal your faults, will forgive your faults, will forgive your sins. You know, because the Prophet said, if your sins were on your forehead, you won't even go out of this room, because everybody will see it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has concealed your sins. You know, because everybody sins. If you don't sin here, anybody here does not sin or make mistakes, then you must be an angel. Only angels don't sin. Human beings sin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects you to sin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created you like that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects you to come and ask for repentance as well. And Allah loves those who sin but ask for Allah's repentance. Do the proper tawbah, that you will not do it again. And you do it again, and you ask again for tawbah. And Allah is forgiving and Allah is merciful. But have that intention that you really truly want to do tawbah. But if you've wronged somebody else, then you have to ask their forgiveness, because on the day of judgment you'll be questioned, you'll be asked. And your deeds will have to be passed on to them. So beware of that. So consider the people's faults. Participating in funerals, whether you are acquainted with them or not. If you hear there's a salah time of somebody who passed away in your neighborhood or in your locality, go to that funeral. Because if you've got the time to do it, whether you're knowing them or not, you go to them. You respect that. You are, because there are so many people who've got the time but they don't go to other people's funerals. We are required to. In fact, on one occasion, Prophet was sitting with the companions and he saw a funeral going by. And he was a Jewish person. And he stood up out of respect. And the companion said, "Oh, Prophet of Allah, he's a Jew." And Prophet said, "Isn't he a human being? Isn't he a human being? We need to respect and value every human being. Whether they are Jew, Christian, Hindu, Sikh, atheist, whatever they are, whoever they are. Anyone can become a potential Muslim. But if they are not, it's Allah's creation. We have to respect them. We have to help them. We have to support them. They are human beings." So participating in funerals, whether you are knowing them or not. Respecting the young and the old. Sometimes we don't say salam to the young people. We should do. They will respect you. And if you've got children, make sure that you use emotional intelligence with them. You know why? Because if you're going to be always harsh with them and angry with them all the time, they're going to be very resentful. And they'll remember that all that will be their memories. They might get you might get your work done by shouting at them, but they will curse you. And if you deserve that curse, then that will apply on you. So don't let that happen to you. Be good and kind to your neighbors. In fact, in terms of the neighbor, if your neighbor goes hungry and you got enough food, you are committing a sin by not sharing your food with your neighbor. If there's enough food for one, our beloved Prophet ﷺ said, it's enough for two. If it's enough for three, it's enough for four. So please share food with your neighbor. Give charity. The more we give, the more blessings we'll get. In fact, those people who give charity, they have a good mental health state. So give charity. Teach others good. So if you bring them up in this way, this is what Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu said. This is how you should bring up your children. If you apply this rule, it's very, very powerful. And it's a sunnah of Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu. Giving a peer to a poor debtor, and that's something I mentioned earlier, so important. The more you give them time, the more blessings you will get. And the risk will come to you anyway. The risk will come to you. The more you give time, the more risk you get, inshallah. Telling the truth, also in trade. Sometimes we trade, but we want to make a fast buck. And try to trade in a halal way and try to sell halal products. I can remember I was in Scotland once and I was doing a course, and after that I went to the restaurant. And this man said, "Brother, did you know this is a new restaurant I've opened? 6 months ago, I was trading in alcohol, and the business was booming. The business was booming, and he was selling alcohol because he said he was selling alcohol. But my mom said to me, I don't want you to sell alcohol anymore. So all this money is haram, and you'll be judged on the day of judgment." But he still continued. Then his mother cursed him and said, "May God burn your restaurant." The following day, the restaurant got burnt. The following day, the restaurant got burnt, and the whole restaurant was destroyed. And then he opened his eyes, and he started to trade again. And that business, the new business, is now booming. So now he's earning halal means of living. Do you want to wait for Allah to test you first before you become good? Or are you going to become good because you know you have to be good anyway? That you have to be truthful. That you have to be truthful in transactional relationships, but also in trade as well. Good treatment of relatives. Good treatment of relatives is very important. Our beloved Prophet said, if your parents have passed away, make friends with the friends of your parents. You know, our beloved Prophet, he got on so well with Khadija when she passed away, with Khadija's friends. So we have to make friends with our older relatives as well. We need to go and visit them, our aunties, etc., etc. Whether they are, nagging you or not. If they are elderly and they need help, go and help them and support them. Forgive others. Before you go to sleep, just say to Allah, "Oh Allah, this person has wronged me. I forgive them for your sake." Seeking pardon of others, so ask for their forgiveness if you've wronged them. And be constantly aware of Allah. Be at that taqwa level. Be constant that Allah SWT is always watching you. So now those are the good deeds you could easily do, and they're very easy, aren't they? But have that as a goal. Have this as a priority. If anybody wants these slides, I'll send it to you. Please let me know. I'll email it to you. But easy evil deeds to avoid, and this is something we always fall prey into, unfortunately. Backbiting and slander. We do character assassination regularly, and this is the reason why the Prophet said, "Do you want to eat the flesh of your dead brother?" That's what it relates to. Backbiting is something that's true, but why do that? If you conceal other people's faults and other people's mistakes, then Allah will reward you for it, and Allah will conceal your faults and mistakes on the Day of Judgment. But slander is something that's not true. That's much worse. So don't do that. Hurting others' feelings. Emotional intelligence is very important. People have feelings. So whenever you say something, conceptualize your words before you say it, because you might be hurting somebody through your words and through your actions. Being harsh with your neighbors. Don't do that. Because our beloved Prophet ﷺ said, if you prayed all your salah, you've done the minimum. You've done the minimum, 5 daily prayers. You fasted just in the month of Ramadan. You went to Hajj just once. You paid your minimum zakat. But you've been a good person. You're good to your neighbors. You've got good etiquette, good mannerism. That person, our beloved Prophet ﷺ said, compared to a person who's done so many Hajj, he's fasted on Mondays and Thursdays throughout the year, as well as in the month of Ramadan. He's prayed supplementary prayers so many times as well. That person, the other person is equal. Wow. So just imagine, that's a very small thing to do. Just be nice to people, because that will take you to Jannah. Not being kind to your children, that's an evil deed. That's the worst thing you can do. Because 3 things that you're going to take in your cover, isn't it? 3 things only. Not your wealth, not your property, not your car. The 3 things are the knowledge that you pass on to others. That's the sadaqah jariyah. Do you think I've come here just for nothing? I want my Jannah as well. The more knowledge you pass on to others, good knowledge, Allah SWT will reward you, and it's a sadaqah jariyah for you. That's one thing. Secondly, if you give a charity, if you dig a well, everyone that drinks from that well will get reward for it. If you planted a tree, every bird that eats from the fruit of the tree, you get rewarded for it. Or somebody takes shade from that tree, you get rewarded for it. So it's charity. But the third one, this is something that we forget. Consider your son, your daughter, as a gift from Allah, as a blessing from Allah. Because when you die, if you brought them well, if you brought them up well with a child. So don't, be polite with your children. Go on a parenting skills course, you can learn so much. Sin is committed with your tongue. Our beloved Prophet said there are 2 things that will take you into Jannah. The item between the 2 jaws and the item between your 2 legs. So watch out for them. This small muscle in the tongue is something that can take you to Jahannam. So beware of that. Not keeping your word and not keeping your promises. You know, sometimes we do this. We just say Insha Allah, but we really don't mean it. And that's really sad. You're committing a sin by not keeping your word. So last few now, inshallah. Not punctual. Come on time. Have good timekeeping. And the other one is if only. Don't say if only I had done this. That's come from shaitan. But if you say something where if I had enough wealth, I would have given more zakat and more lillah. That's allowable. But not if I had done this wouldn't have happened. Because Allah has already ordained something for you. So don't say if, because that is coming from shaitan. Missing your prayer. Try to pray your prayer in time. Try to pray your prayer in time. Don't lose your prayer. Losing hope. Don't lose hope. Have hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And anger. Manage your anger. Because the Prophet said the strong man is not he who is a good wrestler and puts the other person down. But the strong man is he who at the time of anger, when he has a fit of anger, he can control and manage his anger. And the last one is blaming others. Don't blame others. Don't have a victim mentality. Don't blame others for wherever misdoing that's been. Forgive others. Be mindful of not picking up their faults. So those are the easy evil deeds to avoid. Jazakallahu khair. Thank you for listening, inshallah. Any questions or any clarifications that you might want, or if you want to share your goals, and are they coinciding with some of them? Yes, my sister?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I'm from Nepal. I would like to know, like you say that you should forgive the people, but the forgiveness should also be labeled, or for example, if anybody has done like violence, no. So how can we forgive that things? I don't know.
Because first of all, the person has done violence, you've got no control over what's happened. If that violence has hurt your feelings or has hurt you physically, if you are forgiving, then first of all, you're very righteous. You're a very brave person. It doesn't mean that you don't take action. If somebody's going to do something to you, the Prophet said, change it with your hand. Stop it with your hand. If you can't do that, then do it with words or in writing. If you can't even do that, put it in your heart, think it in your heart that this is something really, really bad. That's the weakest form of iman. So it doesn't mean that you don't take action, but whatever you can, whenever that's over, if you say, oh Allah, this person has done so many violent things to me, or to the family, or to the people, but for your sake, Allah, I forgive them. I forgive them. Because Allah will forgive you. The first beneficiary of the ones who forgive are themselves. You know, have you not seen this person in America, and he was in court, and this robber had shot him dead, and he said to the judge, I forgive him. And the man actually hugged him. And he was in the news. And how beautiful that was. That is following the deen. This is what I'm saying, my sister. There's violence in such a way that his son died. Somebody who he loved. But he had faith in Allah. He had faith in Allah. And he said, I forgive this person. And look how he took a positive from a negative. Does that make sense, my sister?
Yeah.
That's what
And
I mean.
another question is like, in my community in Nepal, like 80% are Hindu. And since childhood, I was like told we should not participate in their, like for example, you said funeral things, like when they die, they burn the dead body.
That's right.
And we don't go there because since childhood, our parents told us we should not go there, it is haram.
Oh, you mean when they burn the body? Okay.
Dead body, yeah.
Okay. But if you're going there and you're not involved in the ritual, then it's not a problem. If you just want to go there and just observe, it's not a problem. But if you're involved in the ritual and you praise them, then you're committing a sin.
Yeah.
Because they believe because that is something only Allah. Look at this, wow. It's saying to the believers as well, only Allah can burn in hellfire. Nobody else can burn. A man cannot burn. When ISIS, we heard that this Jordanian air pilot was burned. And I said, astaghfirullah, do they not know our deen? Are they Muslims? Or are they just so-called Muslims? Are we just named Muslims? Where's our iman? So therefore, if you go there with the intention, see, it's the intention. If your intention is something different, and not being involved in participating in the rituals, then it's okay. But the intention should be where, you know, if for example, I went to a church where a friend passed away and they invited me to their funeral, and I went out of respect. But I didn't get involved in the rituals. And they respected that. That's what I'm saying. And that's not a problem.
Yeah, I think this makes sense because there's lack of this knowledge of Islam in our community in Nepal, which makes like us isolated from that community.
That's the whole point. Don't isolate yourself. I belong to the Integrated Council. My brother here, Mike, he's a reverend, he's a priest, he's a Christian. But I love him. And he loves me, and that's why he's here to the masjid. If you are like that, and if you follow the deen in the way that our beloved Prophet you win hearts and minds of these people. That's what we're required to do. So if you do that out of respect, he's a human being. Look, our beloved Prophet, he stood up because the Jewish man had passed away, and out of respect. Does that mean he's doing this is the point. So this is how our beloved Prophet was comprehensive.
Worse than my wife, she said. I only take one tablet. She takes 3 tablets. But it's to do with high blood pressure. And so so the other thing, I suppose, is second is to be, for a long time I've practiced meditation of different kinds. But I think if I'm really stick to what I should be doing, which is 40 minutes every morning, not just silent sitting meditation, I think that would be good for my soul. So that's 2.
Yes.
2. The third one is I really ought to think seriously about the charity we set up, whether I need to major with that to let go of some of the work that I do at home. It's a big decision to make. I'm very tied to a lot of people and a lot of things. I find it very hard. This isn't going low.